And welcome to the 700 Club Canada, Pastor Paul Koo. You know, Contending for Rest. This is such a powerful piece. I really appreciate this work. And I want to really help everyone else to understand how much I appreciate it by just kind of getting out of the way.
Okay.
But I got to ask you a question, because most people don't realize when you write a book called Contending for Rest, that it means that you've been coming from a running background.
Yes, that's right.
Where did it start out for you?
Well, before I got into full-time ministry, I was in sales.
Yeah.
And so sales executive, sales manager, and then eventually a vice president of sales. And so my mindset is always on the go, and you leave no stone unturned until you achieve your goals and your success. And so the idea of rest is absolutely counterintuitive to me. It makes zero sense to me. But you know, that's where I'm coming from, is a very intense, performance-based kind of mentality that you need to do whatever it takes to make it happen.
But you know, I get that coming from a professional football background, you know, and that's why I said, you know, it's like a hyperbole, you know, a jumbo shrimp. It just doesn't make sense, right?
Yes.
Because a high performance person talking about you need to rest.
That's right. That's right. It blew me away. So when the Holy Spirit started speaking to me, you know, it came after I had this 21 days fast, right?
Yes.
And I said, God, you know, how come the church is not growing? You know, we try everything. Anything that you can think of under the sun, we tried it, and we still have 50 people, right?
Yeah.
And so I decided, okay, I'm going to go fast and pray for 21 days because that's what I heard. It would work, right? And so miracle would happen. So I dedicated 21 days, just water fast, you know?
Wow.
And just
hardcore.
Oh, totally, right? I mean, I want to be successful. I'll do anything that's
course.
possible. So I started to fast, and you know, at the end of the 21 days, I thought heaven will open.
Yeah.
Jesus will come into the room,
Lord.
right? And all the lights, and I can have those testimony. You know, you heard those testimonies about Jesus met me. I saw Jesus face to face.
I'm there.
And then boom, revival happened. And, you know, I'll have mega church, you know, this sort of thing, right? And at the end of 21 days fast, not a peep.
Still 40 people.
Still 40 people. Jesus didn't show up. I didn't have any sensation, no feeling. It's like, what just happened? I just wasted 21 days of my life. And so, but as I continued to press in later on, after a few iteration of challenges and also people speaking to my life, I came back to the Lord and I said, God, you know, I just want to hear from you. And I guess that's the important thing, right, to hear from the Lord. And this voice inside of me said, stand down.
Okay.
I go, stand down? No, that is, get thee behind me, Satan, right? You just can't, you know, what do you mean stand down? I can't stand down, I gotta go. And you know, every church growth conference you go to, every seminars, they got ideas, they got things for you to grow your church. And I've been to more church growth conference than I can remember, right? And all these church growth conferences teach you different things, but none of them telling you to stand down, right? And this is so weird. And so, you know, I think sometimes the voice of God is very counterintuitive to our mindset, the way that we think.
Well, I've discovered God will offend our minds to reveal our hearts.
Come on, that's it.
And many times what he does is he shows us something that's so outside of the box. You know, I got to turn the ship, because I know everybody's wondering. You come from a pastor's family.
Yes.
Your dad was a pastor.
Yes.
What made you go on to ministry, and when did your faith journey start?
Well, I actually felt like I was called even at a very young age. I always didn't think of anything else but to pastor. There was such a passion in my heart. I remember when I was 10 years old, I found myself alone in the church every day. You know, in the old days, they used to have parsonage right beside the church. And so I'd just go over to the church and I'll pray an hour in the afternoon when all the kids are doing whatever. I just had such an attraction towards the presence of God and towards worship and just want to serve God. And I just always thought I'll be like Samuel, you know, be in the house of God forever. And then, but when I grew up and started, you know, graduate from university, my mind started to change because I was making a lot of money. I love it, you know. It was important, and you know, because being a preacher, kids, you always feel like you're lacking. And so now I'm making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you know, I get to fly corporate jet, you know, and my dreams was coming through, but inside my
What was
heart,
God at that time?
oh, inside my heart, I was still not fulfilled. And I remember one time I was riding my company jet to Ohio. We had a golf course there to play with one of the customers, a telco company, and I thought to myself, I feel like I'm in a movie. I have arrived.
Yeah.
And yet there was this emptiness in my soul. Not that I didn't have Jesus, it's just I was not fulfilled.
Not fulfilled.
And it was the weirdest feeling. I slapped myself a few times, like, what's wrong with you?
I think
You
a
know?
lot of people listening, they say, I've got that same feeling. What did you do with that feeling?
Well, I want to, that feeling became stronger over time. And so I try to kind of alleviate that feeling, try to maybe compromise a little bit. So I started this church that I'm pastoring. And
Yes.
I think to myself, I'll fly around the world during the week, but nobody knows because people come in the weekend anyways, right? So, and then I'll come and preach in the weekend, you know. That will alleviate some of the urge in me, I thought.
Be bivocational.
That's right, right? And nothing wrong with that,
No.
because a lot of people are doing a really good job. I know a lot of great pastors
Yeah, yeah.
are bivocational, but the calling of my life was not. And so I remember just even doing all that,
Yeah.
it was not enough. It was like something is still missing, something is still pulling me. And so I finally gave up, you know, and one time I was coming back from South America.
Yeah.
I was sitting in a plane and I just couldn't take that urge anymore. I just go, okay, I give up, Lord.
Yeah.
And so I said, God, if you want to show me that I'm supposed to do this, you got to give me 3 signs right now.
Yeah.
And I wanted the sign is that I want this plane to drop. I mean, what a silly thing to say, right? And
What a prayer.
it was, because I thought, okay, it probably never happened, right? And the minute I finished praying, the plane just go,
Yeah.
and then because of the pressure of the air, whatever, right? And I was scared. I was like, okay, I got the message, right? And so there are 2 other things that I asked the Lord to show me, and He showed me. And so it really confirmed in my heart that I needed to go into ministry full time. And so that's what happened.
And, you know, the beautiful thing is with Willowdale Christian Community Assembly, excuse me, I'm butchering it, but God
Everybody
gave you a great gift in a congregation, but it wasn't growing, as we talked about earlier,
Right.
until He did something restoring rest. Talk to us about that.
Well, you know, as pastors, you know, like I mentioned earlier, we try to do everything in our power to make it happen, and it always come back to 50 people. So we have like worship concerts, you know, and we have like a spiritual conference, faith conference. You know, I invite people that, you know, were willing to come. And we pay a lot of money for that, and then we have conferences, and they were very successful. But as soon as the conferences were finished, everybody would stop coming, right? Because they came from the conferences. And so you're back to 50 people, and it's very discouraging. And at the same time, you hear about breakout in all over the world. You know, some churches just got 100,000 people. You know, the guy is only 20 years old. It's like, what? What's wrong with me?
Am I a failure?
Am I a failure? And he said, what's wrong with me? So you started to become very internal and just looking inward, and that's very dangerous, right? And so you start to compare and become depressed.
Yes.
And so, you know, at that stage, you know, I just wanted to quit. So I make an arrangement and I ask people to, you know, I call my old boss back and say, hey, you know, can I have my job?
Open?
That's right. And then she told me, oh, anytime, you know, anytime, we'd love to have you back. So I was making an arrangement. I figured nobody would miss me anyways. I'm like, oh, there's 40, 50 people, you know, what are you going to do, right? I mean, so as I began to go down that journey, the Holy Spirit said, you go into stand down, you stand down. And eventually that meant that I need to rest. And when I started to rest, which means I shut down all the conferences, all the small groups, I shut down everything except Sunday morning. And I shut everything down, and then I started to rest. And I thought to myself, I'm not going to care about all the stuff, whether the church grow or not. If it goes down, great. If it doesn't go down, whatever, God has to take care of it. At that place of absolute peace and rest, the church started to grow all by itself.
Yeah. And today it is what now?
I promise the Lord I will not discuss numbers with people about church, but our church parking lot was so packed that we are forced to have second service.
Yeah.
That's how we started to plan the second service. And this church, this facility we have is not a small place.
No.
It's 32,000 square footage inside and on an acre land. So it's not a small place.
Well, and let me say it for you because I don't want you to break your covenant with God.
Yeah.
But the Lord has blessed you with schools, but also working in the community and working throughout not only the GTA, but all around the world. And and it all started when you started Contending for Rest.
That's right.
You know, I think this is so powerful, and I really believe that everyone needs to get a copy of this. But I'm going to ask you to do two things, because this is in Canada, not India, not Africa, not Asia, but this is happening in revival in Canada. And I want you to get a copy for yourself, but I want you to also get a copy for your pastor. Where could we get this?
Or you can get it anywhere, actually. You can get it from Amazon.
Yep.
You can get it from Barnes & Noble, Indigo in Canada. You can pretty much anywhere. And so it's available online, and they can go to Amazon.ca. Or
Okay. And you can get it here at 700club.ca, and we'll make sure that we give you all the information. And I've got a copy for myself, and I really believe that this is a timely book for 2020.
Yes.
And I want to thank you, and I want to talk to you again a little bit later. But thank you for being obedient to God.
Thank you so much. It's an honor for me to be here.
Pastor Paul.
Thank you, sir.
Well, now Monica sets out to disprove the Bible and has her life changed instead. Take a look.